think it's time to get started. I don't know if anybody is out there. It's just too hot to be sitting by a radio for any length of time, but we'll give it a shot.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Did they make the studio bigger? Sounds like there's more echo on the jingle singers and everywhere else. Hello from the Old Tube Radio Network, Central California, Fresno specifically, where it's probably about 103 degrees outside. I don't know if anybody that's going to be sitting next to a hot tube radio for a little while, but we will see. We are here doing our best, a little bit of mini grass wafting through, and hopefully you too stopping by and saying hello. Radio. The Echolink link is up. The crossband is up. You can see. Thanks for putting the shades down. The sun is still beaconing through, and we will do our best here on the Old Tube Radio Network, a voluntary association of people who are interested in old tube radios and things of that nature. You can hear a little noise in the background. We've got some fans running to cool down the room here, so everything is good. So what I'll do right now is just listen in. If there's anybody that needs an early check-in or would like to get checked in and get out of the heat, go right ahead. OTR is listening.
650, please.
All right, 650 in Pinedale. It never gets over 100 degrees in Pinedale, does it?
It was 106 today.
All right.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a good fourth.
All right, thank you, Pinedale Control. 111, hello, 111, I hear you, Bob, over. All right, let me get the numbers going here. I hear 111. It may not be able to hear me. The skip isn't too bad. And 650 checking in. Who else would like to get an early check-in? I did hear Copenhagen, SWL 61, so we'll get Dino in as well. If you're playing the home game, look for the column that says 7/1/2003, the first day of July of 2023. The Old Tube Radio Network on the air since somewhere before the 21st century, believe it or not. All right, let me get started. Like I said, it's going to be probably a little slow at the beginning until the sun goes down. Our 00, and I do believe that Craig is out listening. And let me see if I can get our crossband check-in. Hello, radio. And let me get you checked in before you melt out there, KB6GFD.
Thank you very much, Dennis. And have a wonderful, cool 4th of July, if that's possible. KB6GFD, W6KEG.
All right, well, I think the 4th of July is going to be closer to 100 degrees rather than 110 or whatever it is right now. So thanks for checking in. Stay cool, and I will get to 74 checked in as well. Over. KB6GFD.
W6KEG, 73.
All right, hope my antenna's working. I mean, the band is relatively quiet in the moment, so we got to check in for SWL 25 and 74. I was interrupted. 00 is getting Craig checked in, who is listening in, and over on the video side. So thanks for joining us. Go back to the order of the day here. Let's see. I got to get the right page. They say I don't have the right. No, I do. I do have the right page. I'm kind of remembering what to do. SWL number 1, of course, the cosmic check-in. I don't know. I remember the days he would just be flat out on the floor when we had these 100-degree temperatures. I mean, would like a cat would do the net from the floor. SWL number 2, Mr. OBP. I hope you are in some air-conditioned splendor there, Kevin. Staying cool. Kevin is over on the video chat. Sunspot numbers are down a little bit. I really think with the heat we have this evening that maybe we will get perhaps some of the short ducting skip. So if you are in the West Coast area, keep your radios tuned to channel 11. We'll see if we can't pick you up. SWL3, Rob is at the Clovis Amateur Radio Pioneers fireworks stand, raising a little money for the group there, so that's a good thing. And let's see, I want to see, okay, we'll see who's checking in here in a little bit. SWL5, DD21, Mr. JT took the evening off. It's the 4th of July. I know they have, always has a big celebration. They're saying the lighting is bad. What? Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. I see what the issue is. So I'm going to go there. Can you guys get it? No, they said I can reach it better, so hold on. Yeah, I saw it flash. You know what? I saw it flash earlier. There it is. That's a little better. Just getting used to the foot switch here. Right. SWL5. As I was mentioning, old radio night on Hi-Yes. Let me give them the ID here on old radio night. We'll do that again when they come in. But hello, Vaughn. If you are out there from Hudson Valley, checking in tonight. And checking in early. There's a Radio Randy who is he's on Australian time. He said he fired up the digital radio and had the beams pointed this way into Fresno from his secret location in Arizona, thinking that it was the old Tube Radio Network night. Actually, it was the Ditch Banks sideband net. You should have been on 36 lower. They might have heard you. Well, Randy will be listening to see if we get the skip. Right now, it's very quiet. So, Randy, I'll get you checked in if you need to run off and say hello to the group on 199 or wherever it is tonight. But, yeah, keep that antenna pointed this way. Let's go to, where are we going? SWL7.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead, over.
Good evening, Dennis. I'd like to check in early and proxy 603 Joe and 49er if I can, and a happy 4th of July there, 10-4.
Yeah, 10-4. Thank you, sir. I know it is warm out there. I will get you checked in, Mr. Belair. I will also get, let's see, who did you 60? I know they're working on the location there and trying to get the antenna up and running, and I will also get Brian and Sweet Country Mama 49 as well. All right, thanks for the triple play, over.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Dennis. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. 73.
I'm just looking to see if I was on the right antenna. Sometimes I do that. I tune up to the wrong antenna. Everybody seems like it's quiet. It's a bit quiet because I'm not on the proper antenna. We've got a proxy for 7 who is probably will be in a little bit later, but he's probably in a cool location playing cards. Let's go to now here's the station. I didn't hear Idaho coming in early. SWL10. And that's Chrissy and Dwayne. I will put them on possible hold here. They may be coming in. So that takes us to SWL11. Did someone say Fresno? Yes, they did. So Dan is in, of course. Mr. Cornbread. Someone did say Cornbread. And SWL12, he says they banned fireworks here this year. It's so hot they worried that they would go off. Yeah, well, fireworks are always banned around here in California, but they go off regardless of whether it's raining or not. So Dan and Dapper Dan, hello radio. And thanks for checking in tonight. I hope I have your safe and sane. I don't know. Here in California, they have these safe and sane fireworks. If there's something you light the fuse and it does not leave the ground unless you throw it in the air, which you're not supposed to do. SWL13, Mr. Cobra is right here, as Motor Mouth Mall would say, right here, right now. checking in. Mike, I've got you checked in with an X in the square. If I kick that in there, let's try SWL 14.
Hey, howdy, Dennis. SWL 14. Sean and Singer checking in. Hope everybody's having a great 4th of July and staying cool out there.
Well, I know the 4th of July will be good. Staying cool is a different mode of operation altogether, especially when I think they're looking for another 110-day tomorrow. We will see what happens. They've got the air conditioning cranked here in the control room, although in this part of it never does get very cool. So all is well. You are sounding good, and if time permits and you don't mind a little extra heat, we will possibly hear you on a tube radio. Over.
Oh, yeah. I'm in the living room. I got the fan and the AC going, and the tube radio will hopefully be fired up later on. So we'll catch you later. Thanks, Dennis.
All right, doing a good job here on the old tube radio network. Over to Charlie, who is right there, SWL 16, and I notice you guys are real casual. You and Chet. I mean, normally Charlie and Chet are dressed impeccably, even more so than I am, and you guys are very casual tonight. What's the deal? Oh, I didn't see it. There was a note. I guess there was a note on the bulletin board over by the elevator about because temperatures were so hot, you could kind of dress down, do a casual. How come I didn't know? How come you didn't tell me? All right, here I am in the Sears sucker suit. I am the sucker that bought it from Sears. All right, SWL 16, Anoka, Minnesota, and beyond. Checking in. You look good. Yeah, that's. You don't always have to get dressed up. Oh, I had to rush in from the pool and put on a tie, but I don't know. I feel okay. Let's go to SWL 17. SWL 18. I will get Mikey checked in from Facebook. SWL 19, Derby, New York, by way of Belfast, Maine. Chet with the cue cards. And I like your Hawaiian shirt tonight. You know, I was going to change into something like that if I could, but the last time, check the video. The last time I wore the little kind of brightly colored shirt, that's when we had the big fire behind me. So I thought, well, maybe that shirt is unlucky. So I'm back to the Sears sucker. Let's go to thanks 19. Thanks, we got you checked in. SWL 20.
Roger. Radio, meeting guys, come on.
Number 20 here. Please check me in. And also, number 21, JT from back east. He's has family over, so he's spending quality family time. Also 29 and 54 and 135, who says if he went outside he would melt. So we don't want him melting. Anyway, it is also time for the weather report, in-depth weather report, which is hot. It's very hot. It's extremely hot. And that is the in-depth weather report.
Arizona mixing it up on the far end.
All right, that is a good weather report and a most accurate weather report. I do think so. Let me check. I don't know if I can load up. And this is the weather from over at City College, I think. Are we still in? It says it's actually down to 99 degrees now with humidity of 25%. So and the winds are up. It's sort of like this hot furnace. It's like opening the door to your oven. Getting those little 5-mile-an-hour winds that are just wafting all that hot air. All right, Harvey, you are sounding good. I remember the days when it was this hot, you wouldn't even think about going into the radio room, but at least there's a little bit of cool air blowing, and that is a good thing. We've got you checked in, and I will get all the other stations, including the one right next to you, Mr. JT, out of the Wasama Swamps, checked in as well. Let me get back to the video here, and let's see, I'm supposed to do an advertisement. It's not an advertisement, it's just a promo reminder. Let me put it right in front of my face. I like that. The old radio night on the radio near you, Saturday evenings, wherever you might be. Check it out next week when DD21 JT returns to the air chair. Thank you, Harvey.
You're welcome.
Boogeyman, Cool Cash, we go, blah, blah, blah.
You hear a little bit of Mini Grass checking in. Let's see if Alaska can hear us. Hello, 22. Hello, Tyler.
Bye, Boogeyman. Hey, Boogeyman.
23 Skidoo is probably somewhere where it's not 106 degrees because he's a smart guy. And I'm looking on my list. Got a need to get an early check-in for 57 Brown Dog Audio. I see you there. We will get you checked in so that you may continue with your Saturday evening items of interest. And we will catch you next week on the Old Tube Radio Network. Direct Network roll call is where we are at. We are streaming at oldtuberadio.net, where there's a link to all sorts of stuff. But better yet, we are right here, Channel 11, 27085 in the Central Valley of California, awaiting, if they're here, if they dare beat the heat with their tube radios tonight. That's coming up. Let's go to SWL 24. And I lost my pen already. Oh, it's over here. So I will get Joseph checked in. SWL 25, as you heard moments ago, Jerry checking in on the crossband. I have a feeling that Studio G is a little bit warm for this gentleman, but we'll give it a shot anyway. SWL 27. What's going on in Sacramento, where unlike Fresno, they actually have a little bit of delta breeze coming in from the coast occasionally. So I bet it wasn't 110 degrees there today. Gary is online. Hello there, checking in. Hot and even at 106. All right, well, you guys, and no delta breeze. All right, that's what happens. In the morning, you get the wind from the east. That's what we got this morning, kind of like that hot wind. So you weren't saved. You were not saved by the wind. All right, sorry about that. But thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. I've got Mr. Loner checked in. We will take a look for SWL 30, either over the air or on the radio chat somewhere. And Randy, you are probably hearing the stations we're hearing that's coming out of Hawaii, no doubt. But whether we get the short skip or not, that will be something I'm not sure. Ice cream, pineapple juice, and a lot of vodka. I don't think that's what's happening in the green room tonight. I will find out. We will find out a little bit later. But if it is, sign me up, I think. That's, although I don't know. It's that combination. That combination could probably make me sick. Let's go to SWL 31. In fact, it is. It's right over here. They're pointing. Sorry, they were pointing. Shit, let's go over here. What is this? Sorry. All right. That is, where can I put this so I don't spill it? Let's go back over here. Yeah, it's in one of those disaster cups. If it spills, it's going to go all over the place. That's good. That's the lemon, or the tea with lemon. And I don't think there's anything else in that besides ice. If there is, we will know at about 9:30. Let's go to SWL 32. Shortwave listener 33, myself, Bozo Control, and all the gang here at Net Control. SWL 34. Hello, Jimmy. What's going on in Batavia tonight? Nothing. I'll get Jimmy proxied in. SWL 35. Is Mr. Bill around? What's going on in Cheyenne, Wyoming? I guarantee it's not 106 degrees out that way. SWL 36. Shortwave listener 37.
SWL 37 here, Dennis.
Good evening once again. Over.
All right, and you're still sounding good. The radio is a functional device. Stay cool. And thanks for jumping back in the radio room.
And also, can you check in Joe? 603, I can't remember what his number is.
Yeah, he's 603. Got him proxied. I know we're still working on getting the antenna up and everything back together. So he is checked in. Over.
Okay, thank you. I'm not sure when it's going to be done yet. I talked to him yesterday, and he's still not sure himself. So I will let you know as soon as he knows.
All right, very good. We'll get him checked in. All right, thanks for checking in.
Okay, I'll be back later. Shower time.
All right, over to SWL38, and they say they want me to check the RE meter, which I will do with the positive and negative peaks. They're doing some trickery tonight on the audio processor, so the technical department wanted to see if all the meters, 6, 7, yeah, all the meters look like they're going where they should. No one's complaining about my audio. They're complaining about me, but not my audio, so that's a good thing. Sam, are you out there? We're listening. SWL39. Shortwave listener 40. Who's listening in? Who's listening to the .net? Who's in the building tonight? In the balcony, the unknown SWL, come on down. Fairfax, Virginia, we're coming up to you. San Bernardino, California. I played a song Tuesday on the radio by Frank Zappa about, they call it San Berdue, but about San Bernardino, Frank Zappa tune. So hello out there somewhere near San Bernardino. Maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe you don't like to call it San Berdue. Who else? Shinston, West Virginia. Hello, radio. Thanks for joining us as always. Fresno. Hans is in. Listening in from Copenhagen, where it is cool. I think he said it is possible getting some morning rain. I'm seeing if we can connect up there, see what's going on. But getting a slow connection. Who else is around? Newcastle, Virginia. Lots of Fresno stations out by the pool. I know what you're doing. Don't be in the radio room. Just listen in. That's okay. We're here until 10. You can come back anytime to check in. No problem. I see Van Man. Let me get out there in Kentucky. Let me get Van Man checked in. And all right, looking good. We'll occasionally check in with listeners who are out there on the radio tonight. SWL 41 is Road Dog 507. Hello, radio. And UDX 483 checking in. Hello, Uniform Delta X-Ray. We will get you in on the list here. Thanks for stopping by tonight. Also looking for SWL 42. There we go. Newcastle, Virginia, 71 degrees at 11:24. It's even warm out that way. SWL 43. SWL 44. SWL 45. Paul, if you're listening in somewhere, I hope you are feeling better, recovering well, and we've got an X in the square, so no need to check in if you can't, but you can certainly listen in, and we've got you United Delta X-ray. All right, United Delta X-ray. I guess that would be the phonetics, whether you're a 483 or a 385 or whatever in that particular mode of operation. Let's go to SWL 46.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead, over.
24 checking in. I'm so late. Too hot out here.
Yeah, we're taking early check-ins, and I have a feeling we might get a lot of late check-ins when it gets down to a comfortable 95 degrees. Joseph, I've got you checked in, and thanks for stopping by. Over.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm out in the garage, and then my cup thing says 104.
Yeah, and I think it's we just clocked a 99, but it takes a little while for the garage to cool down unless you got one of those big fans. All right, running in and running out, and you did it without melting. Thanks. Where did I leave off? 46 SWL 47.
Good evening to all from the Radio Lounge. This is SWL 47, where we're checking in, and then we're going to go jump in the pool immediately right now. Thanks to an alternator that decided to reject its main shaft and in the process eat up a fan belt on a mid-engine car, which is not fun to try and replace. I've been out on a motorcycle all day today, and let me tell you, some parts in town where the asphalt is not in the shade, that temperature gauge on that bike read 116. Yeah, that's 116 degrees. So we're rather warm over here.
Yeah, a little reflective heat. It's bad enough in the shade, but yeah, that black asphalt pulling. All right, well, sorry about that. I don't have any mid-engine cars, and as you know, all the stuff's in the front, but yeah, that, and they pack them in, right? So hopefully it can get replaced. The parts are easily serviceable, and there wasn't any other damage than what there was. So, all right, maybe back to the air-conditioned vehicle in a little bit. Thanks for stopping in. Back to the pool. I think that's where everybody is here in the control area today, out by the pool and doing something else. I hope to get one or two radios. It's just one of those days where you don't want to be sitting in front of the radio. So continue on, and thanks for jumping back in to say hello, radio.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, we'll leave this one on, warming the house up, and we'll officially check it in a while. 73.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Was it that little car I remember?
Yes, it was.
Ouch! Okay. Well, good luck.
Yeah, it's on a mid-engine car. It's not a good thing when you have to replace an alternator, and you actually contemplate taking the passenger seat out just to get to the. That's a story in itself. Anyways, there it is, OTR.
Okay, take care. Jump in the pool for me, too.
Yeah, this is definitely the jump in the pool frequency, the old tube radio network. Real radio's glowing in the dark. Coming up, we are in the direct-to-net roll call from somewhere in the valley of Central California, one of them anyway. Listening for your radios and check-ins on the Old Tube Radio Network, streaming at oldtuberadio.net with the video thing going on. Who is listening? I want to see who's on the video site tonight. Joey Tango Romeo 21 X-Ray checking in from upstate to South Carolina earlier in the net here tonight. Also, Mark S is in. I want to say hello. I wish I'd have recorded last night. We were on 40 meters, and this voice pops in and says, "Hi, Dennis." I'm thinking, I don't recognize that voice, but it was Mark from up in Alberta checking in. There's was a contest, Canadian contest going on. I don't know if he was in the contest or not, but he broke in. Great signal, great audio. I think he might have been on. I'm not sure. I don't have my notes. Probably on the 7300, which always sounds good. And he gave me a shout out and said, "Hey, I'll be here tomorrow night." And there he is. So anyway, Mark, again, good to hear you on 40, and hopefully we can do it again. It was good to hear you out there. Let's see, Mike, 68. I will get you checked in from earlier. Tony is on the Echo link coming up to that to get our tubes on the air. Hans is listening in from Copenhagen, where the temperature is 23 degrees Celsius and maybe rain is on the way. We could use a little bit of that. Windy, warm, wild Wildemar. Richard, good to hear you in the other night on 40 meters as well. We'll be checking in with you shortly. Radio Randy with the beams pointed towards this area. and a host of others. Craig 1843, hello to you. Jukebox 502 in Illinois, I believe. Thanks for listening. The voice in Squamish, Albert, is listening in, says a little skip from Fresno. He can hear Harvey. Harvey, you're making it up to the Squamish place. We'll try it live and direct, and then we'll also check in on the satellite link up at the end of the net. 34 is checking in, Railroader. I missed you on the chart, but I see you in there now, so we'll get you checked in, Jimmy. CB Lounge 2112. His handle is a palindrome, I think. Thanks for jumping in. Van Man, we've got you checked in, and everybody is looking good here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's go to SWL 48. Got a proxy in for SWL 49, Brian and Sweet Country Mama. SWL 50. Now that's pretty good. They can hear Harvey, but they can't hear me. I knew I was a mud duck. I knew that West Side guy was an alligator. SWL 51.
SWL 51 checking in.
All right, 51. It's nice to have a semi-quiet frequency. You're beaconing in with no problem whatsoever. We've got the X and the square over. Let's see. Let me get back to the right video portion here. Let's go to SWL 52. I was given just a little lag time because Aaron might be listening on a remote. Let me see if he is, you know what? Is he on the APRS tracker? Nope. Don't see him out there. Let's go to SWL 53. Bob, Mr. Bel Air, checked in early. We got him. Page 3, which is stuck under page 1. Got to check in for Mr. Boardjammer, SWL 55.
55 checking in.
55 checking in and sounding good. I would say on the cool location, but there's no cool location here today. Thanks for stopping by.
Freeze at 4,100 feet.
All right. Well, that's better. That's better than at 311 feet. Thanks. I want to say hello to Rusty Rails, if I didn't already. 007 Extreme CB checking in from the Jersey shores. Thanks for picking us up here on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. And I did see the walking man out there somewhere, hopefully in the shade. SWL 56.
Dennis from the net. 56, just for kick.
All right, kick some of that cool air this way. Sounding good, sir, and the X is in the square. SWL 57, Mr. Brown Dog Audio with an early check-in. I will give a proxy check-in for SWL 58. I missed the Ditch Banks sideband net last night. I stayed out too late. And then when I got on frequency, there was no one there. So I will give Jeremy a proxy check-in and see if we can't get an update on what's going on in Tennessee. In early tonight, right when we started the video, Uncle Hairball SWL 59 with an X in the square. Thanks for joining us. Actually, he's checked in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got all 8 check-ins. I think he's set up until September. So I'll fit all those X's in there. Thank you, 59. SWL 60, Joe, who might be listening in from Fresno. Hello, Joe, if you are. Hopefully you'll get the antenna back up, and it sounds like the QTH is getting everything to where it needs to be, and that's a good thing. SWL 61, Dino checked in early. I don't know if he heard me, but I've got the X in the square for Copenhagen. SWL 62. SWL 63. And SWL 64 with the 2-for-1 Craig out there in Wisconsin. Not sure what the weather is like where you guys are, but thanks for stopping by on a very late Saturday evening here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Foxman 362, hello to you if I didn't say so already. And let me back up. Say hello, Radio 2. Dwayne, 10 and 30 checking in. They have company, so they'll be popping in and out. Well, thanks. Thanks for putting the company on hold for just a minute. Did you tell them I have to run into that room with all the strange radio equipment and sign in? And maybe, if we're lucky, although I haven't heard Idaho yet today, sign in again. So, all right, 10 and 30, we got you. So hopefully you're having a good visit there. It sounds like fun. So 10 and 30 are in. We're looking for SWL 65. I've got a note to put a proxy in for Eric, which I will do. And 502, that's what I need. I need that 4-element. I need an 8-element as much. I think one of our stations here does have, is it the 6-element or the 8-element? Shoot and skip. I think Bobby's got one of those. Just a monster of a beam, but plays well. SWL 66. Shortwave listener 67. SWL 68. I have Michael checked in. NY 157 got you there 68. SWL 69, Kenny from Tulsa in at the beginning of the net. Kenny, you're not missing anything, Kenny. It is 106 degrees today, 110 tomorrow, and it's 99 right now. You know what I'm talking about. So enjoy. Unless you guys are having, I know in Kansas they were having 100-degree weather, and it's a little bit humid, so maybe you guys are doing the same thing over there. Let's go over to SWL 70. Shout out to Mid-Atlantic Radio Repair. Says I'm sounding good. Love listening in. Well, I like being listened to, especially when we're going to have some radios coming up. That's why everybody tunes in. We'll see if we can get one or two tonight. It is really hot here, so I'll be I'll be wondering if anybody's going to be in the radio room tonight. In the radio room, as always, SWL 71, Stan. Did some VE testing today, but no contesting this weekend. I know there was a Canadian contest. I should look that up and see exactly what it was. I don't think I gave a point. I might have given a point to Mark just by talking to him last night, but I wasn't actively in, and I don't know if it's how it works. But okay, Stan, very good. Thanks for helping to add to the ranks of ham radio. I'm sure a lot of people are excited to pass the test and get their tickets. The bands are getting better. Yeah, the break OTR, hello, 61, hello, Dean, over. All right, 61, I've got you, over. All right, there's the official 61. Let me re-up that number. I heard him before, but I think you're hearing me this time. Thanks, Dean. Dallas, Georgia is checked in, SWL 72. That's Radio Boy. He was down on Channel 5 earlier. I'm going to get him checked in, SWL 73. We've got a check-in for Miss Julie, SWL 74. Also listening in, beaconing across the airwaves, GWD Labs. Let me bring the video up. They've got some, can you really see it? Yeah, they added I think it's kind of grungy, but it's right up there. They added the limiter on the old Dominator tonight. So it's a little bit of light candy, but I don't know if it's necessary or not. It might play okay on AM, but those people who would just tune in to look at the lights, we've got more lights for you tonight. Hello, GWD Labs. Ontario CB Club Sound says we sound good on the laptop tonight. Extra compression. I don't know. Maybe that's how it works. Was it PSV Odyssey? Howdy from Semi-Crazy in South Arkansas, where it's okay to be semi-crazy, I think. Once in a while, anyway. SWL 75, if I didn't call him already. Shortwave listener 77. SWL 78 from the warm, wild Wildemar. I got Richard checked in moments ago, and he was sounding good on 40 meters the other night, jumping in on it. Might have been 71.99 or 72.12. I can't remember where we were. Richard always puts in a good signal from the South State. SWL 79.
Back on the air with the hammer down.
Oh my gosh. You fooled me. I was just about ready to put a proxy in or look for you on one of the emails, and you are live and direct, sounding good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for checking it. Over to shortwave listener 80. And I was just checking. I said, okay, are we okay to go over to Bob and Steve? Are they? Okay, there's something there. There's just not a lot of people milling around. They're all outside or under the big fans tonight. So we'll find out what is going on around here tonight. I didn't get the message that it was sort of a dressed down Saturday, but that is okay. Let's see what's happening.
27.085 OTR channel 11.
Yeah, there's so few people you can actually hear a little echo in the studio tonight. Episode 173 for the 1st of July 2023. How can it possibly be July 1st already? Everyone is having a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Be careful with the fireworks, the kind that leave the ground and don't leave the ground, whatever you've got. The red, white, and blue limos are in the parade. They were out this morning. They wanted to recruit me to to wash and wax and vacuum. I said, I don't know. I don't know if I'm up to that. But anyway, they gave me a cloth, and I think I did the blue. I polished up the blue one a little bit. That's nice. They're always good. The police and their wives are in the red one. The doctors and wives are in the white one. The firemen and their wives are in the blue one. So if you see them beaconing around town, down Fresno Street or up Blackstone or Herndon Avenue, honk. Give them a nice honk and a thumbs up. They're used to that, I think. And the Jingle Singers have all the limos decorated with streamers, and the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts are walking alongside in the parade. Boy, I hope they'll do the parade early in the morning, because it's going to get, as you heard, it's very hot out there when the sun comes up on that asphalt. The Jingle Singers got more floats for the pool that say OTR. Yeah, we used to take the little noodles and bend them into the shapes. Oh, it's hard to make a T. It's hard to make an R. It's easy to make the O. But the floats now say OTR on them. The red and white and blue look good on the very cool but warm to the touch blue water. 108 degrees in Fresno today. It's about 99 right now. The pool has definitely been busy. Found at a garage sale at Johnson Viking 2 with a Collins 398 receiver. Wow. And a D104 mic for $33. Is that a good price? I'll tell you what, you can't even get the knobs on a Collins 390A receiver for $33, nor the meter, nor any of the Collins filters there contained therein. You might be able to get the Viking 2 for that price. $33 is a good price. So the only thing is you've got to carry it home. The 390A is you grab those rack handles and stick it in the rack. We will make it work. And that is my favorite number. That's the only, when we take the people out, they go on, looking at the garage sales, we always give them $33, say, do the best you can. So they definitely did get with their $33 this time. At the bar tonight from Oklahoma City, Mama Lou's Restaurant, fresh chicken stir-fry Ambrose salad with hot rolls and butter. I'm in for the hot rolls and butter. Tea and coffee are on Bob and Steve. And of course, you don't want to forget to feed the fish, not tonight anyway.
27.085OTR, channel 11.
All right, take a 30-second break here, and we'll be back with roll call and then some Tube radios coming up. This is the Old Tube Radio Network. All right, back in the back in the control room. I don't have a temperature here in the control room, but it is a little bit warm. But thanks for the tea, guys. It is doing well. We are page 4 is where we're starting, and we're looking for SWL 81.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR. Let's take that check in. Go ahead, Wayne.
Yes, can you proxy in 81, Steve the Unicorn?
I can do that. I'm right here on the thing, so we will make sure he is still on the list and looking good on page 4, over.
Well, now that you mentioned that, I had heard from a mutual friend about a month or two ago that Steve the Unicorn passed away about a year ago. I think in Texas is where he lived.
Yeah, he moved to Texas, and I'm looking for the box. He sent us a box of crystals of all kind and all frequency. And so 81, Mr. Unicorn, who has pretty much been checking in radios and listening in, beaconing since day one on the Old Tube Radio Network, definitely has a spot on 81 on the list, over.
Okay, that'll be nice, Dennis. I didn't hear you mention anything about Steve over the air, so just want to let you know the bad news.
Okay, well, he's one of our, what do we call it, cosmic check-ins for sure, Steve would check in the no-name radio, a radio that had no badges, no stickers or anything, but it did fire up and it did have tubes. Thanks for the info, and the X is definitely in the square, over.
All right, thank you very much, Steve, Dennis.
All right, thanks, Wayne, and I will go ahead and get you checked in now if you have to run out of the radio room, because we're on page 4, and you are right there, 114. Thanks, Wayne.
Okay, thank you for the check-in, Dennis.
He's listening where the skip is coming in tonight, still from the mini grass, but kind of down. Oh, let me check. Before we go further. See if I can get the DX map up here and see what's going on. Yeah, look at that. Up in the Great Lakes. Wonder if Jimmy's getting some skip. 6 meters is open. Nothing on the west coast. There's a little activity up there in northeast Oregon, Idaho area, so maybe we'll get some beaconing coming in, but kind of slim pickings right now on frequency. SWL 82. Hello, Ron. And I'm going to get Ron checked in. Like I said, I missed the net last night. I got in late. And it must have been hot out there because there was nobody on. Sometimes they hang out on the frequency and I can get checked in. So I'll get Ronnie checked in. SWL 83. And SWL 84. That's a Cheerios kid. I haven't listened into the 7204 net to see if he is. I think he's still doing that. So I will get Jerry checked in, and of course, all the ladies, the Mountain Maid, Tandy Grill, and Snowy Owl, 86, 87, and 88 respectively. SWL 89. SWL 90. And then beaconing out way over, let's see, that away to the Bronx, where Felix, of course, is saying hello radio to all the Old Tube radio operators and SWLs. Hi, Felix. You are looking good as always. I see you've got the flag up for the 4th of July All looking good. X in the square. Thanks for joining us, the Old Tube Radio Network. Here on the West Coast, streaming at oldtuberadio.net, live and direct on Channel 11, 27085. If you want to try and give a listen, their band is just quite not there, but you never know. It could pop in any second. Let's go to SWL 92. Shortwave listener 93. I think I feel the breezes from beautiful Orlando, Florida. SWL 95, Warthog 95 checking in. Thanks for bringing a cool breeze into the control room. Out in Kerman, where if it's hotter, if it's going to be hot, that's the place it's going to be hot. Way out there in the beautiful grape fields, the raisin fields of Kerman. Hello, Dennis. SWL 97. Let's go to Boston and say hello to Jim and the gang out there. From the Pacific Northwest, Jake from State Farm listening in on Channel 11, wondering if we're going to add any propagation from Central California to up that way. It's hard to say. SWL 98, Tracy is right there with an X in the square. Thanks, Tracy. You are sounding good. And I haven't had a chance to check out the Echo link, but we're going to do that. Radio Randy, SWL 99, was listening in earlier. He's got all the beams and everything pointed towards Fresniger. All right, let me fire up the Echo link and see if we can say hello to Tony in South Carolina. KB6 GFD finally uncame. And Tony was in. He may have stepped away from the Echo Link keyboard, but I will give Tony an X in the square. And if he pops in, or if my connection is actually working, we will say hello to Tony in South Carolina in just a bit. SWL 102, somewhere in Arkansas. Hello, John. And he hears, yes, I'm hearing Bing Crosby or whoever. That's always a popular song, singing "We're Having a Heat Wave." I didn't play that song on Tuesday, but it was in the mix. I think it got axed for time. But Bing and the gang and the orchestra, we're having that tropical heat wave. Thanks, John. I'll put you on my as my music director for the next playlist. Directed.net roll call is where we are at. The Old Tube Radio Network is where you are at. The Tube Radios are coming up in just a moment, so don't go away. And, I didn't say hello to Rob out there in Woodland Park, Colorado, saying this happy 4th of July. It is a cool, wow. Well, see, you're up, I don't know what your altitude is up there. I think it's at least 5,500, right? I mean, the whole state is like that. And Rob often has to go out and dust the snow off the towers, and brush the snow off the beams. I don't think so in July, but it's 55 degrees. So I would be dressed properly were I to be up there in Woodland Park, Colorado. Thanks, Rob. I missed your post, but you're looking good. SWL 102 is checked in. SWL 103. Shortwave listener 109. It's just too hot here in the Central Valley. SWL 110. Now that's the guy that should be checking in. He's over at Millerton Lake. He might be wading out in the lake with the walkie-talkie. SWL 111, Robert, I heard you earlier. I'm getting an X in the square if you're listening out there in Reedley. SWL 113. Shortwave listener 114, you heard Wayne earlier, checking in, sounding good. SWL 128. And if I go over to the, big board, John is checking in, wanting everybody to have a fun and safe 4th of July, which is exactly how we're planning on doing it. Shortwave listener 131. SWL 133. SWL 135 with an X in the square. Cliff, if you are listening in, I will wait. That way they say in CB land, I'm waving a hand, also checking you in. SWL 137. Shortwave listener 145, Tony up there in Coarse Gold. Oh, and Tony sent some questions. I will get to them later. I want to get into the radios here, but Tony has some good questions on the net on Friday. So I'm going to get him checked in, and we'll find those questions just a little bit later. So 145 is checking. SWL 147, I don't think I saw Neil yet. I'll give him a proxy check-in. I will go back and check. Sometimes he sneaks in. But that is okay. Let's go to, speaking of the Gizmochi, let's go to SWL 188.
Good evening, Tom Dennis. Good evening, Tom to all SWLs. 188 checking in on the Gizmochi.
That's right. I think you said you had an alternate humongous, gigantic antenna up there.
I don't right now. I'm thinking about working on something else here real soon. The quad came down. I'm sending that up to Mr. Bill. And but right now we're just on the 8-element Gizmochi.
All right, sounding good. Somebody was talking about their 4 elements. So I mentioned that we have a few more elements here in the Central Valley that do some skip talk. And you are sounding good as always. We've got the X in the square. Thanks. We are looking, let's go up to where it might be a degree or two cooler up on the foothills, SWL 195.
195, checking in, Dennis.
All right, up there in Coarse Gold. Hello, Jim. Thanks for joining us on the old Tube Radio Network, or as Jim used to say, the old tired Tube Radio Network. You are sounding good.
Thank you much, and I hope everybody has a safe 4th of July.
All right, I am trying. We've got everything sort of secured around the control room here, but you know how it is. Sometimes the neighbors don't cooperate, but they're having a good time. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you much.
I hope they will not have a good time at my expense. Let's go to SWL 226. Mr. Shockwave beaconing up there in Mariposa. Anybody else that would like to check in?
Dennis, please check in SWL 100.
All right, and perfect timing, Tony. Let me jump in on the TX here. All right, Tony, we heard you. SWL 100, and we got to have it's official. We got to have Tony checking in before we can raise the flag for TOTA Tubes on the Air. That's coming up in a couple of minutes. So we got you checked in. Thanks, Tony. And I'm going to take one more, let's see, let me go back to the Echo link here. KB6GFD, and see if Ricardo is listening, KA3ZQX. Ricardo, take a transmission if you can hear me, KB6GFD Fresno. Hello, Ricardo, over. And see if Ricardo is listening in on the Echo link. Sometimes he checks. I want to see what's going on up there with Ricardo. Here it is.
My pleasure being here tonight, actually. Getting here mighty late. It's 12 midnight here in Dayton. So we're getting some heavy thunderstorms coming in. Temperature 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. Mighty hot. We had some heavy smoke from Canada the past few days. Second going around. So thank you very much, Dennis. Go back to you, to the net, KB6GFD, K3CQX. Back to you.
All right, and that's Ricardo out in Ohio near Dayton, where they have the big hamvention. And yeah, there's some storms moving through. There are some storms moving through the central part of the state. They've got the smoke. They're getting double duty between the storms coming through and the smoke coming down. We have not had any fires here on the West Coast, keeping our fingers crossed, but we get the same thing with the smoke, but you're getting the fires from up there in Canada. So, Ricardo, good. I'm glad I saw you. Thanks for making a great transmission, sounding good from Ohio. And with that, we'll be checking in some tube radios. Thanks for joining us tonight, KAB6 GFD. And I will be back in a moment on the old Tube Radio Network. I'm going to switch some things around, and we'll be checking in your radios. Were there to be any? Over. All right, 73, Ricardo, thanks. KB6 GFD. All right, let's see if this is actually working on the old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The old Tube Radio Network.
Okay, that is the old Tube Radio Network, the old Tired Tube Radio Network, and we are back in the air chair. And what's going on? I was supposed to open the window. I will do that. The sun went down. I wanted to say hello to, and I'll make it official here. Let me go back to the SWL check-in list for, let me grab my page, SWL 147. I'm not sure, but to make sure I don't have my blocker on, but Neil says, I'm definitely getting your check-in, sir, and it's looking good here, so sometimes, I don't know. Do I have, is it one of those, maybe it's one of those things, greater than or equal to 146, or less than or equal to 148, but it is there. So thanks for stopping by the old Tube Radio Network, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Where I don't know. I think are you getting smoke? No, I don't think you're getting smoke. You might be getting some rain and inclement weather because it is heading down that way. All right, Foxman reminding me not to forget to turn on the Tube Radio. You know what I do need to do? Let me go back to the RA meter, and I got to get out of the chair and do a couple things. I'll be right back, and then we will start to checking in some radios. Over. There, is that better? When I jump out of the chair, the cords get wrapped around everything. All right, we are good to go. Steve and everybody says, turn on your Johnson. All right, hold on. I've got to do all that stuff, so hold on. All right, radio is on. What's on the pocket protector tonight? And they're saying no pen? Oh, all right. We want to make it a true pocket protector, so I'm going to... I thought I had one in there already. I guess I don't. It can't be a pocket protector. And where's our less than stellar close-up camera? Unless you have the Exolite Greenie. Yes, the Exolite Greenie. And there was a Bluey. I think it was a Phillips head. This is the slot head. But all you techs know what a Greenie is, right? And I think there was a Bluey, but I don't know what that was. Maybe that was like an all or something. There it is. The Greenie is going into the pocket protector. Should have been there all along, so now I can, as we say in the biz, do a little peeking and tweaking. Good deal. So the Johnson is lit. So I will say, this is the old Tube Radio Network, and we're standing by listening. If anyone dares to go into the radio room tonight and fire up some tubes and make some heat, we will be listening for you. Over.
How about that OTR?
All right, there must be a breeze in Sanger tonight because I hear a brave soul. I am checking into the Tube radio list for July 1st, 2023, and our first radio of the evening brought to us by Sean in Sanger. Hello, and I hope you can hear me. Over.
Yeah, I hear you just fine. I was hearing a little bit of a white skip there, I think, for a second. Sitting here talking on my Cobra Cam 88 B&K Citizen Band transceiver.
Okay, the wheels of the bus go round and round. Let me get my classic Cobra Cam 88 picture, and I may have some others to pull up here, but B&K, the 88, and let's see what I want to do. I think we'll go to the solid one here if it goes up. Yeah, all right. To take a transmission, it's always, no, we don't want that picture. It's always sounding good. Where did it go? All right, I'm having trouble with my controls. Yeah, there we go. There's the picture, sounding good on the Cobra. Always nice audio, even when the signal is not that strong, and that's because we're just so far apart. The audio goes through, comes through nicely over.
Yeah, I like the Cobra Cam 88. The speaker has a nice tone on it as well, so it's nice to listen to. The receive is real good on it, and it also has the stock B&K microphone that I'm using. It's a hand mic, like a coffin type of trucker's microphone.
Oh, wow. I'm impressed because I was going to guess you might be on a D104. So that's good highs, good lows. Doesn't have, it doesn't sound like the phone patch audio. So maybe a good note that anybody looking for the Cobra Cam 88, if it comes with a supplied microphonium that doesn't look like it's been, damaged or left out in the sun, that it's probably going to sound pretty darn good taking a transmission, which is what you should do right now, over.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here enjoying the OTR. I just sliced up a homegrown tomato I got from my mom and dad.
Yeah, how about it? You guys in Bodog Town, Colin?
Just sitting here enjoying a snack, talking on the Cobra Cam 88. The modulation light is blinking nice and bright, so I guess I know I am transmitting.
You are transmitting quite well. I am jealous of your homegrown tomatoes. I did not plant any type of tomatoes or anything this year, and let me tell you, the homegrown ones are always so much better than what you get at the store that are picked, I guess, really green. Okay, there's the shot I'm looking for. Everybody's at oldtuberadio.net or on the video. There is the whole bunch of Cobras. You got a pair of Cobra Cam 88s, one, when we'll talk about this, one with the range boost and one without, also a 98 in there. So that's a desk full of Cobras. And you have the 88. Oh, do you have the range boost switch on yours? I cannot remember, over.
Yeah, it's a Dynaboost, and it is on. So yeah, I have that switch and the modulation light glowing away right now.
Okay, sounds good. The Dynaboost, and I have, I actually have a good shot of the Dynaboost. What I'll also do before you go is give you an S-meter report. Okay, here it is. So I actually have a close-up of that. The mod light, the switch, and right next to the meter. So take a transmission. I will endeavor to find out where your crystal control frequency is at, over.
Yeah, this ought to be in a thing. Hopefully it's just really use it just for the OTR, and so hopefully it's on frequency. And thanks for the time tonight. I know I'm starting to get a little Hawaii again, so hopefully you can still hear me.
I can still hear you just fine. 100% copy. You are very much on frequency. When I go to the 0 beat, either upper or lower sideband, you are right there. I don't have to tune in at all. So all is good. The Cobra Cam 88 is a good way to start the radios tonight. Will it be? Will it be the only one we hear? I don't know. But thanks for braving the heat of the radio room and the heat of the radios here in the 1st of July, where we're finally getting a summer in Central California. We got by in June with really, really nice weather, and so we're paying for it now. Back to you for a transmission, Cobra Cam 88 at the microphonium.
Yeah, rather shocking, honestly. We had such a what they call the California Classic all year up until this weekend, and then, man, Thursday and, boy, Friday come in, and it was hot. I went outside and was fooling around a little bit, and it got so sweaty I just had to come in. I probably took about 5 breaks, and it was miserable outside today. But, yeah, thanks for the time, and I'll warm another one up here.
37.
Yeah, I was out this morning at 7 with all the garden tools, and that was about all I could take for a couple hours then before it started getting hot. Put the S meter up, as you can see. S3 or S4, the noise level is really low, but that is what good audio will do for you when you are low on the S meter. It sounds like it's a lot stronger signal. The audio is just nice and solid. Our first radio, and don't go away, Chris, you will be radio number 2, the Cobra, and it's the Cam 88. And let me click on this to see what it says in the Rolodex. B&K Dynascan. I don't have any information. I was going to give you a year, some tube compliments, so we'll leave that for next time. Thanks for checking in, Sean, and getting us started off.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Back to you.
Well, I got news for you, Sean. You got 8 pounds, good modulation. I saw a general radio over here. You sounded real good.
Thank you much, Chris.
And 23 Skidoo. I'm going to get Mitch checked in, and he brings up a good question before we check in radio number 2. And the question would be, does anyone know what the CAM, the C-A-M, the Charlie Alpha Mike, and the Cam 88 stands for? I wonder what that Cobra CAM, is it an acronym for something? Is it, who knows? So maybe we will find out tonight, and maybe not. The Old Tube Radio Network. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Dennis. Oh, man, is it working. I haven't keyed up in a while. Anyway, Dennis, can I check in my general?
You can check in your general over. Tell us about what the general is doing tonight.
It's glowing. Anyway, Dennis, no, it seems to be working good from what I can see on the meters. It's swinging up to 20, so it's doing good for radio. Only supposed to put out about 7 watts or 5 watts, 3 watts, 4 watts. I don't know. It does the licking and taking. But anyway, I want to check in my general radio telephone, my Super MC11A 24-channel tuber that glows in the dark, and we are running this here with the original handheld stock microphone. Nothing behind it, just me in front of it.
Let me see, I can have a picture of the microphone here. They call it a CM3. If it had the little dot in the center, it would be like G and the word general, and CM3, dynamic microphonium. What is it? 5-watt DC input is where it's supposed to be. You can put that into CAP mode with a plug in the back, but you don't need to. It is super loud. Back to you, and I'll put up the S meter this time.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here looking at the little old man in the wheelchair with his IV sitting next to him there, so. Yeah, but yeah, it seems to be working quite well tonight. I haven't done nothing to it, so, just turned it on, let it warm up for a bit. Over.
Yeah, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 days, it warms up, and it sounds good on the Old Tube Radio Network. And here's what Chris is talking about, the old man in the wheelchair. There's a knob, there's the S meter, and on the Super MC11s, this logo, which is in between the two, did not exist. On the Super MC11A, it's actually a G, an R, and then the T in the shape of possibly a little electronic symbol, but they're all kind of connected together. And it took us a while to figure out, is that one of those, disabled person's placard thing that's on the radio? What is that old man in the wheelchair with the little IV? But it turned out it was the GRT logo. So if you blink a couple of times, you'll see the GRT. If you blink a couple of more times, you'll see the old man in the wheelchair with an IV. Over.
Well, you stopped saying here back in 2019, that was me in a wheelchair. Bent over like that, hanging on to my IV as they're walking down, pushing me down the hallway.
All right, but now you are as super as your radio on which you are speaking. The General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. It has 9 tubes, believe it or not. The ECLL 800 on the output tube, the 12AX7A, probably a Super Primo 12AX7A. Don't ever replace that tube unless you're going to put it in your Macintosh amplifier. It's doing a good job with its 2 transistor to do some DC to DC conversion back to you for a transmission, and we're glad that you brought it by over.
Well, I didn't know what I was going to do tonight. I took my shower while you was doing the other stuff, and I got out and I come in here, did my thing, and now it's the wife's turn to do it anyway. We'll leave that alone, but yeah, I thought I'd get in here and at least check this thing and, get it going. I don't know what's going to happen. I may try to hook up another one. Well, I don't have to hook it up. I just got to turn it on. That's hard work,
It is hard work, but we appreciate all our tube radio operators and collectors that do the hard work, that sort of sneak away from whatever they're supposed to be doing on a Saturday evening and say, you know what, I'm gonna add a tube radio to the list. So you are radio number 2 with the General Radio Telephone. So yeah, if you have time, we will be here till 10 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time, and we will be able to check in the radio.
I missed thinking. I will be back. I just turned one on. I'll surprise you which one it is. So anyway, it'll be coming on here in a few minutes.
All right, sounding good. All right, the old Tube Radio Network. I heard a crossband check-in. Let me see if there's anything there. KB6GFD.
Hello, OTR.
Okay, there we go.
K6USY Mobile.
All right, you are just in the outskirts of my squelch, but I do hear you. Take a transmission on the air and on the air. We'll get you checked in. 52 over.
Very good. Net control. Yeah, SWL 52 from behind the out here in West Fresno, beaconing 50 watts into the OTR camphor tree, and getting ready to head for the beach tomorrow. So we'll see you guys later. K6USY Mobile.
All right, heading for the beach is a good place to be, and there is no beach within 100 miles of this location, so make sure you find a good one, whether it's high altitude or at sea level. Sounding good. Thanks for checking in, and 52 has got the X in the square, KB6GFD. All right, 52 with the X in the square. I've got so much noise in the room tonight. I never know if I'm keyed up or something. Let's go back before we take another radio and revisit the Cobra question and see if we possibly have a Cobra answer. So let me go back to the CAM 88, and the question was, what was the CAM? Does it really mean anything? And someone came up with compatible amplitude modulation. Is that a thing? Who said that? Sonny Scottford said compatible amplitude modulation. Well, if that isn't a thing, that sounds pretty good. And they're always trying to come up with something to sell a radio. So your compatible amplitude modulated radio, compatible with everything else, doing good tonight. Not sure about the 88 though, but maybe the engineer who designed it was an Oldsmobile fan. You know why? And the reason you say that, because there's a 98 as well, right? So do they have the Cobra Toronado with the front mounted transformer? All right, let me stop talking, and we'll pick up some radios. This is the Old Tube Radio Network. All right, 14, I hear you, and you've given yourself away. I know where I'm going in the Rolodex. Take a transmission.
Yeah, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark IV is screaming out tonight. Currently working good. I'm on the amplified D104 Silver Eagle microphone. Hopefully making a nice transmission tonight.
All right, the D104 looking good. Put a picture up of their multi-fold color brochure from Browning that probably cost them a pretty penny to make back in 1977 or 78. But then again, we are looking at the possibility of what, almost a $900 radio or something like that. So I guess they wanted to make sure that if you were going to pay that much for your radio, that you knew they were serious about it. Over. Interesting, and it's very possible that when they went to the Mark IV, they changed some things on the 3. Here's another picture of the Mark IV, the transmitter, the receiver with the still kept the Eagle. Looks like the speaker might actually be a little bit smaller than it is out of Mark III, but it's still a nice front fire speaker. Still a pretty radio with all the gold knobs and the trim as well. But I will take any radio that makes net control sound good. The Mark IV was their, I guess, answer to the FCC when it said you've got to be 40 channel and comply with whatever we've changed the rules in 1976. And I think the market was already starting to dip a little bit from the import radios, and a $900 radio is a little bit much, but there are still a lot of Mark IVs around. Over. Yeah, it should. Always sounds good. I asked you this previously, and now that I see that we have a couple of different photos of the Mark IV, the one I'm showing now does not have the Golden Eagle emblazoned on the front of the speaker. The one I did, one I showed prior actually did, so I'm wondering if that was an addition from the company on a later or an earlier model, or something that you would have to buy and put on. So the question would be, does your receiver, and that's the receiver, yeah, does your receiver have the Golden Eagle badge? I don't know what you would call it, a badge, but the physical eagle on the speaker? Okay, yeah, there it is, and it's right in the center, and it's definitely a 3D, not a a photograph or a silhouette like they had on some of the earlier ones. So good, and I love the gold knob. You gotta love it. Radio number 3 from Browning Laboratories, the Golden Eagle Mark IV, definitely the last of the great Browning radios, and right here tonight on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for bringing it by.
37.
So Sean out in Sanger with the Browning Golden Eagle. 37, step into the air chair, but don't take a transmission yet. I want to say hello, radio, to shortwave listener 109. Crawdad checking in from afar. Let me put the X in the item of interest, and at some point, whatever the delay is between here and there, wherever he might be, in the clandestine location where I guarantee it is not 106 degrees. So a very smart person, Mr. Crawdad is, and we've heard some other stations saying that they might be heading to where the air is a bit cooler. So we got you in 109. Thanks for jumping in there And we will look forward to seeing you maybe next week live and direct, but we do have you checked in. And Radio 4, I believe, might be coming from Chris. Hello, Radio.
And hello, Dennis, once again. Dennis, I would like to check in my G PowerMate, my Gem Marine Products, a 23 channel tuber that goes in a truck. It's pretty moving. And I am running this here with an amplified D104 lollipop, over.
All right, I am searching our Rolodex files for, and you did say, ABC of EB of G, a Gem Marine, over?
I did, Gem Marine Products.
Okay, for some reason, the file came up with Gemtronics. And it is now scrolling. Oh, this, I like this one. It says from Collection of Chris. So we might actually, let me bring it up here, be looking at the radio on which you were talking. So good. Here's the picture. And here's the radio. Take a transmission.
Right there on the bottom of it, on the right-hand side, it says G PowerMate Gem Marine Products. A tube radio. That works. Over.
It does work. And I think that 23 Skidoo mentioned that if one were to look inside, that the similarities in the chassis and everything might look a lot like a Robin or a T-Berry or something. I think that is one of the Panasonic number 2 chassis, which is why it sounds so good with anything strapped to the front of it there.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I've got a Chris 23 Plus. It's the same front, same case, everything.
It's a PowerMate in Chris clothing?
Well, it just says Chris 23 Plus, so I guess it's his own clothing. I got my clothing, he's got his.
Indeed. All right, we'll put up the S meter, give you a signal report if you were ever to watch the video, and we'll find out how close you are on frequency. Take a transmission over.
Well, it's probably it's not as strong as my General, but you know, let me see what it says here. It keys up roughly about 3 watts, swings up to about 5. That's what it says on here. And I believe that's even on the PEP. So yeah, and the PEP shows more. But anyway, that's about all it does. Now on the radio here. Hello, it's keying up at about 3, and it's swinging up there to 4.5 over.
Sounding good. Sorry about the extra key ups. I'm always trying to find the foot switch, which is moving around here. All right, well, I checked you in on the frequency, and believe it or not, you are almost, not quite, 2 kC low. I don't know if you hear me better right about there. That's where your transmitter is, but we're going to go back up to 085. So, yeah, if anybody's listening and they have one of the old Delta Tune, you know, center plus minus, go to the minus side. You get a little cleaner audio. Your audio is fine. And here on AM, it doesn't really matter if you're off frequency too much. If you were on sideband, people wouldn't even hear you. But it sounds good. So maybe lift the right side of the radio up a little bit and you'll be on frequency.
Let me see. I lifted up the front of it. That help? Probably not. Well, yeah.
There you go. Well, they're giving you a 5x8 on the video. S-meter looks good. They like the audio. And you are radio number 4 tonight, July 1st, 2023 on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for stopping by. Over.
Thank you very much, Dennis. This is it for me. Next time I'll check in another one besides this one. Maybe all 3. Who knows? Maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. You never know what's going to happen with me. But I'll keep it going.
Good deal. All right. And there are some people, not myself, I'm sitting here in the seersucker suit. I'm like the only one that's actually overdressed tonight. Because I did not see the note on the bulletin board by the elevator. SWL 40. Let me punch the button here and get Larry 785 checked in, who says, is it indeed too hot for tube radios tonight, and I would say no. As you can see, we've got 4 tonight. That's 4 more than I thought I was going to get. So we have some people who are either braving the heat, or perhaps they have a nice air-conditioned radio room. Larry, you are checked in, but it's always cool where you are. And when you're in a cave like that, it's always a constant temperature. Anyway, we've got you checked in, and thanks for stopping by.
AC here, fan going over top.
And there are, let's see, 1, 2, there's like 3 or 4 fans running in this room, and none of them are pointed at me. They're all pointed on equipment or the rack or something like that. You can see through the window, we do have some breeze blowing through here tonight, but it's a very warm breeze. Let me go to, since I can, we will recheck were I to be able to find it. We will recheck the DX map, see what's happening around. Yeah, it's actually, well, maybe if I were able to do that. Not much on the West Coast, not much anywhere. So our sunspot numbers are going down. Anyway, OTR is listening for radio number 5. Well, 23 is good. We actually do have, and Cliff does a good job in the month of May, when it is St. Patrick's Day, on making sure that all that month he makes sure he checks in all of his green radios. So were we to have color-coded evenings, I'm not sure how that would work. There are some great yellow radios. There are what was the Heathkit color? Heathkit had green and brown, Golden Eagles, of course. So check them in if you got them. It doesn't matter what color they are or if they're total chrome. We could have chrome night. If your radio has chrome and black, check it in. That would get a lot of the Palomars checked, and I'm sure it would. Oh, the Jingle Singers have finally come in. I was waiting for somebody to come into the studio tonight. All right, let me stop talking, and we'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
Yeah, it sounds echoey tonight, doesn't it? It's just there's nobody, everybody's outside. There's nobody in the room soaking up the sound, so we get a little bit more echoey. Who is joining us tonight? Hello, up in the balcony. I see you through the door. Station in New Straitsville, somewhere around that area tonight, up in Ohio. We always do good in Ohio. It is now Sunday morning out your way, and still 72 degrees, so nice and warm there as well. The Old Tube Radio Network standing by and listening for radio number 5. And Foxman 362 said he's never seen a pink tube radio, a pink old tube radio. I don't know were there to be any that are unaltered off the shelf. Now, the radio started in 1958. You know when pink was in? The color pink was in, and this is true. If you live in a 1950s house and it's got that pink and blue tile or pink and yellow, it's got that pink tile in it. The early 1950s, I think Mamie Eisenhower, President Eisenhower is the first lady, had something about pink, and so it became a very popular color in the early 1950s, which is why you do see pink tile in a lot of bathrooms, thanks to maybe Eisenhower. But see, that was the early 50s. So by the time the late 50s and the 60s rolled around, I don't think pink was the in color. So If there were to be a pink radio, it would probably be something that has been altered. We are looking for radio number 5. And look at the S meter tonight. Let me open the squelch all the way up. I mean, that is just unheard of. I don't have any static. I hope I'm on the right antenna. There's no skip. There's no short skip. I thought for sure tonight we would have maybe some short skip tropo ducting because of all the heat. You just never know. I'm going to squelch it down to S2. And not that I'm complaining at all. And Mark, no mini-grass. Although it was earlier, they never had a big kaboom like they normally do. Their gray line is coming up. I think the gray line on the mini-grass, do I have a map of that, is coming up, if it hasn't popped by already. Let me bring up the... yeah, see the map there. There it is. We're in a gray line. So the map for them is definitely coming up. So maybe in about 10 minutes we'll hear the mini-grass. But in the meantime, we would like to hear some tube radios. We're listening for radio number 5. Was there a Cobra 29 LTD Classic Pink Edition? There possibly could. Somebody just walked in up the balcony. Who is that? I saw the light come through the door. Germantown, Wisconsin. Hello, radio. Glad you could join us. All right, and 23 Skidoo has done it again. Let me just bring it up here. There it is. Asking, there it is. There is the Cobra 29 LTD Bright Pink Edition for breast awareness. Based on the classic Cobra model, the 29 LTD is continued to be manufactured based on the original design. In stock. That's about as pink as you can get right there. Probably very collectible. It's not an old tube radio, but it is pink. And now that we're talking about pink, I should go find the insane kitty around here whose name is pink, and there's a story behind that which I won't go into. But we will be listening for radio number 5. Who's that waving? Brewster 30-06. Up the state a little bit. You know what I might try to do since it's quiet? Maybe we'll check in. I'll bring the satellite up from Squamish, and we'll see if we can't hear the Squamish boys here in a bit. All right, we're firing up the satellite link up in Squamish, so if the Squamish boys are around, I'll leave it out in the background. We'll see if we can't pick them up tonight on the downlink. Oh, I think I saw some activity. 27085. Take a transmission, and we'll get you guys checked in up there. I don't think we're going to get direct conditions tonight. The Old Tube Radio Network are listening. Bring up the satellite link up here to Squamish and beyond. Talk to Canada. Talk to Mark last night on 40 meters with a big signal. I think he was on the 7300, but we got to do a little bit of uplink, downlink trickery to hear you guys up in BC tonight, the Old Tube Radio Network. Yeah, they're 23. I didn't kind of plan on having another little kitty around here, but I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago, I was standing outside, and there was a car parked kind of across the street and to the corner and doing something, I don't know, and then they took off, and as soon as they left, I heard the distinct cry of a very small kitty. When I went over there to check it out, there indeed was a very small kitty in the bushes, which immediately said, "Can you pick me up?" Which I did, which is probably kind of a mistake. And so that is the insane kitty that is hanging around these days. And I do recall that the person that went out of the vehicle and I think probably stuffed them in the bushes was wearing a T-shirt that said pink. So in honor of the delivery person, I named the kitty Pink, so that's the story behind that. Is it time for the jingle singers? They say yes. Here we go.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you, wherever you are. The friendliest nation for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
We are listening for any and all check-ins. If you couldn't check in earlier because it was too warm, it's a good time now, or radio number 5. Well, you have answered my question. 256 checking in. Let me put up the video here. See them come back on Canada Day. So that is the explanation for the Canada Day contest that was going on last night and maybe going through tonight. All the Canadian stations sounding good on 40 meters last night. Got to talk with Mark up in High Prairie, anywhere up there in Alberta. And so thank you there. Take another transmission if you can. We're looking at you and listening up to Squamish. And have a great day. As they say, happy Canada Day. OTR listening. Oops.
Thank you. I'd like to wave a hand to everybody out there, and thank you for doing this, Dennis. 73s, I'll pass it back to you, sir. 428 listening.
All right, 428, sorry about that. The receiver moved off frequency at the beginning of that transmission. I'm not sure where we're looking. Here we go. There it is. I want to show that. What a great signal. There's the signal coming in. Nice looking signal, good modulation. So you guys are doing good. The whole band tonight is just even quiet up that way. But through the miracle of electronic wizardry, we are hearing you just fine here in Central California on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for joining us. Over.
They're very quiet in British Columbia. I'd like to wave a hand to everybody, and I'll pass it back to you. Thank you for doing this, Dennis. 73s, I'll be on the side monitoring.
All right, we got the full transmission that time. And what's cool is you'll be able to walk back, after you take your transmission in the radio room, walk back to wherever you're monitoring the Old Tube Radio Network, and not only hear your signal coming through, and give yourself a prospective radio check. So thanks, guys. Glad we could get you logged in tonight on the Old Tube Radio Network before we sign off. You've done it live and direct before, just isn't working tonight. And we had some good conditions on 40 meters last night, so maybe Canada Day will stir up the atmosphere. We are looking for Radio 5 before we sign off. Any check-ins, SWLs, what have you. The Old Tube Radio Network is listening.
47.
And there is one right there. 47 braving the radio room once again. Welcome back. Over.
Oh, thank you. And I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to step on that other gentleman's toes there. I keyed up in the middle of that conversation, I think.
Okay, that was coming in on the satellite uplink from British Columbia.
Well, it sounded great, and hello from Central California to that gentleman. Not in a cooler climate, like I'm assuming he's facing. Here's one from the Radio Lounge where it's not that bad in here. What is it? It's a mere 81 degrees in the Radio Lounge right now, which is fine because that's cooler than the radio I'm on right now, a Robin T123B. Without a doubt, the hottest radio, literally the hottest temperature-wise radio I have in my collection.
All right, well, adding to our colorful radios tonight, I'll bring up the T123B photo, and I'm trying to remember, without actually looking at the photo, I do believe, and I won't ask you to help me out on this one. The 123B is indeed green, so we've got blue, we've got green, working pretty good tonight. We'll even show the box that it comes with. Take a transmission on the 123. Over.
Oh, that's interesting you'd say something about the box. I have been looking for a 123B on eBay, and this is going back years ago. There was one that looked really good. It actually did have its original cardboard box with it. Unfortunately, the box itself looked a little bit better than the radio did. So I kept up the search, and I got this one. This one, I'm speaking on right now, I gotta say it's the prettiest radio in my collection. It looks pretty much immaculate. Even the unamplified stock microphone I'm using right now, it looks like a new piece of plastic. It's just scratchless and shiny. It does not have the, it didn't come with a cardboard box. I think the only cool cardboard box I have came with one of my Gonzit radios, which I haven't used in forever. But This one is, like I said, it's a good-looking radio, no match guide tube, but it does have a rather meager modulation lamp, which surprisingly works on the receive as well. Couldn't tell you why, but it likes to blink, I guess.
Well, you've come to the right spot because this is the rather meager modulation light frequency, but that is okay. The Robin got all the lights out of that Panasonic chassis. The Robin got the deluxe light package from the TX RX external speaker mod PA. They must have paid Panasonic extra to get all that, plus the PA, plus the external speaker, plus the range expand, fine tune, and an RF gain. The green is looking good. Oh, a question for you. I will give the close-up. I believe that can go mobile, which it does, and there is a bracket. And I'm thinking it might actually, from the side of the case, be able to be installed on the bottom of the radio, in which case, which the radio we're showing, it would act as a stand to elevate the radio and tilt the face up for more enjoyable operation, and or if you attached it to the top of the set, then it could be used for the radio to hang down as a mobile installation. So I'm wondering if you have that mounting bracket, and does the mounting bracket have I'll say a matching color? Does it look like it's possibly painted to match the radio over?
You know, that is an unbelievably wonderful question. I can't believe you even asked that. I do have a couple of other brackets for other radios that I have, and I don't use them. They're just, I don't know where they're. They're in the closet. This particular radio I'm on right now, again, the 123B, it's got a really significant bracket, and it's on it right now. And yes, although I've never mounted it or mounted the bracket on top of the radio, so you could attach it underneath the dashboard of the car or not. This thing has the most monstrous mounting bracket I'm aware of. And that's funny because I don't think this has ever really come up in many other conversations about radios. But yes, it does have a huge bracket that, let me check here. It is not the entire depth of the radio, but it's pretty close to it. It is I'm assuming it's the exact same, it's got to be the exact same color as the radio itself. And unlike the other brackets I have for radios that are, just little inch-wide pieces of metal, this thing is huge, and it's got two really, really nice, dare I say, satisfying knobs that you can turn, that screw into the chassis that you can help you attach it. It's a monstrous bracket, and again, I don't think I've heard anyone really ever chatting about that. So I can't believe you asked that. Yes, it has it. It's mounted underneath this particular radio. It's being used as a stand, and I got to say, it looks pretty good here. Good. Thanks for asking that question.
Well, I was looking at the pictures, and that sort of stands out in two of the pictures when I'm thinking, how is that radio mounted on? And it's like, well, it's a bracket. It's matched, color matched the radio, and if you we can barely see the side on this one. If you look at the side of the radio, it looks like there's a mounting bracket at the bottom and equidistant up to the mounting hole, equidistant between the top and the bottom, and it's like, aha. So one is for base operation, for displaying radio to your face, and the other one is possibly for mobile operation, for doing likewise, but in a different configuration. So very smart. Again, I reiterate that the Robin T123B seemed to be the top of the line, at least for the build, exterior-wise, on the Panasonic chassis. So good stuff. It's sounding good as it always does. Doesn't have quite the modulation output of the 123, but it does sound good. Over.
Yeah, well, thank you for allowing me to check it in. This one does, I believe it does have available a cord, or to make a long story short, you can wire up a cord to run it off of DC power. I have not done that, which kind of makes me just make it makes me want to make a comment. I was just a couple days away from trying to check in from Morro Rock with the other robins. I'm not going to check in tonight. But then again, the alternator took a nosedive. So I definitely believe everything in life happens for a reason, and it's really funny that that my alternator, my car that I was going to use to check in a tube radio from Morro Rock, it's funny, it decided to implode just a couple blocks away from my house instead of 2.5 hours into a national park while I was trying to check in radio. Again, everything in life happens for a reason. Maybe this particular radio will be checked in on the road sometime with DC power. It's not tonight. AC from the Radio Lounge, and thanks for letting me check it in. Everyone sounds great. I don't know if it is the mobile bracket, but thanks for letting me use it. Appreciate it. 73 from the Radio Lounge.
All right, thanks for jumping back into the Radio Lounge, giving us the radio number 5 before we sign off, the Robin T123B. And I see in the notes here that we heard Albert and the gang up there, and it looks like Mark, who was in Alberta, was able to contact the guys on. Is that skip conditions for you guys, like the short skip up there in Canada? So I probably missed that conversation, but that's cool. All right, so we generated another conversation. We'll listen and eavesdrop on you guys sometimes when the conditions are good. We don't have the short skip here tonight. Radio number 5, Robin T123B. If you like your colors on the radio, it isn't pink and isn't blue, but it's a nice green color. Thanks for bringing it by, and we'll be counting and amounting and maybe heading out of the radio room shortly. So if you need to get checked in, you got a couple of minutes. OTR is standing by.
One more.
This is the one more frequency, over.
Okay, let's do the Golden Beagle by Browning Lavatories. R68T68. And I gotta make it short. I've got 2 extra dogs that I'm watching while my sister-in-law is out of town, and one cannot handle fireworks. So I've got to go make nice to this little puppy.
Yeah, I'm sure, like I'm getting here, and it's all over town, that there are some very... No, it's not as bad as it has been in years previous, at least over here. I mean, not as bad, but it's still inching up as we get towards the 4th. But there are some huge explosions that happen often, over.
You got it. Well, I've got this one guy 2 blocks away that insists on practicing.
Yeah, well, neither safe nor sane, and some of them can be quite loud. When you can hear it, you've got the air conditioning blasting, and you can hear it through the windows. It's got to be loud. So, yeah, make sure the canines are safe and sound. But I don't know of any dog that appreciates the loud noises.
You got it. Well, for the 4th, we've got some doggy downers we're going to give them. That'll kind of knock them out a little bit. It'll be calmer. But I don't want to dope them up this early. Okay, we will catch you next week.
All right, adding your Radio 6 to our mix, the Browning Golden Eagle R68T68, or should I say, speaking of canines, the Browning Golden Beagle, which makes its own noise, but is certainly a lot more compatible than the M80s going off. Thanks for bringing it by.
You got it. Okay, catch you next week, sir.
And the Old Tube Radio Network counting and amounting and looking for the jingle singers to jump up and do what they do best.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
I kind of like the echo thing. It seems like it's working out okay. Listening for any last check-ins before we sign out, OTR. It sure sounds like that Skip wants to come in tonight. All right, and you know the booms are starting to happen over here as well, but I think the noise gate is taking them out. I turned everything down tonight because it was pretty noisy in the room tonight. 106 on Sunday morning, Rockwood, Tennessee, 68 degrees. Precipitation, you guys are getting rain. We are getting our first heat wave of the evening. Let me clear the photos and maybe put up, what do we want to look at? I don't know. We can look at the REA meter. I'm waiting, there they go. I'm waiting for my cue to actually...
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
I think the way it works in the bylaws is I'm not officially able to give out the numbers until we actually hear the fanfare, which we just did. SWLs tonight, 70 total, not bad, considering a lot of people are away where it's much cooler. 17 on page 1, 11 on page 2, 18 on page 3, and 24 on page 4 for a total of 70. Radios tonight, 6, which isn't bad, considering the temperature is still around 90-something degrees here at a little after 10 o'clock in the evening. Brownings just sneaking in as the most heard manufacturer, but not by much, starting out with the Cobra Cam 88. Compatible AM modulation, Cobra AM, who knows, but it is an 88. It's the radio you want to mount in that Oldsmobile, in your Delta 88. Sounding good, Sean. Good. We had a good condition tonight, and you got a couple of radios in. Some of our favorites tonight, by the way. Radio number 2, Chris on the General Radio Telephone Super MCLA 11A, sounding as super as always. Radio number 3, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark IV. Sean out there in Sanger with possibly the most expensive CB radio back in the day. And maybe still, if you're trying to find them on eBay, and maybe specifically if they've been gone through and spiffed up a little bit, sounding good in from Sanger to Fresno, Midtown. Radio number 4, Chris on the Gem Marine Products G PowerMate, one of the Panasonic clones. We had a couple tonight, this one being as well the Robin T123B from Mike for Radio 5, and moments ago you heard the Browning Golden Beagle R68 T68, commemorating all those dogs that say, can we get over with this July 4th thing? You are listening to, or have been listening to, the Old Tube Radio Network. My name is Dennis. I should return next week to the air chair. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your 4th of July, however you do it, as we say here in California, safely and sanely. We'll catch you back next week. And what can I say? The Old Tube Radio Network 73. And Hans is on his way to POTA. We're done with our TOTA, Tubes on the Air. So have a great time, and reminds us that if you are studying for or thinking about studying for your ham radio license, a great time to do it. A lot of different various things you can do, whether you want to run radios and big antennas or radios and small antennas, QRP, digital modes, it's all there, and it doesn't take much. So keep on studying. Get the upgrades, and maybe like I did with Mark, we'll talk to you on the HF bands. You can say hello radio and get a QSO another easy way. 73, everybody, the Old Tube Radio Network. Oh, and who was it? Mike was on. Do I have this before I go for the video people? Yeah, here it is. Let me bring it up. Going back to the good old days. Can I see it better here? Why did I get the whole thing? There we go. This is a big patch that Michael found up in Pittsburgh. Anybody was in a club, those 60s and 70s radio clubs, Bucket Mouth CB Club, International member, 500 watt mouth, founded by the Corn Picker out there in Omaha, Nebraska. So people would come to the breaks, the coffee breaks, and they'd have their shirts all with the badges. And this is a pretty nicely made patch. So anybody have their old patches, their old shirts? He got this at a garage sale, I think, but they wanted to share it with us. So a shout out to the Bucket Mouth CB Club, International member, 500 watt mouth. So anybody out there that was in that club, founded by the Corn Picker. Where is the Corn Picker? Back in 1972. Holy cow, that's that 50 years ago, 51 years ago. Anybody still around? Anyway, cool stuff on your Old Tuber Radio Network. And maybe we'll be doing our 50th anniversary here at some point. 73, everybody, from your Old Tube Radio Network.
Break. Dennis, I remember that Bucket Mouth Club. I'm an oldie. I remember them Bucket Mouths in their clubs and them CB breaks of grand. And things were huge.
Hey, Dennis.
Yeah, just about. I grew up in Southern California, and just about every city or every area had their own break. And you could probably go to 5 different ones in a matter of a week and just driving in a 20-mile radius. And they used to give away raffle-off prizes, which in California turned out to be illegal. A lot of the ones that they stopped doing what they called a lottery. That was 50 years ago, before they started doing the real lottery. But I remember buying a couple of tickets, and people could win microphones and antennas and all sorts of good stuff. So yeah, the good old days, and that's what we do here at the Old Tube Radio Network. It's sort of recreate that with our tube radio operators and their radios. So good memories. And hello, Harvey, take a transmission over.
For you. You need to, Dennis. There's a lot of DX out there tonight, but you have a good evening on the check-in on the DX on the on the Old Tube Network. It's the place to be on a Saturday night. See you, Dennis.
Okay. Wanted to let that guy finish. What does ham stand for, Dennis?
I looked this up. Why are amateur radio operators referred to as hams? And there is an actual explanation. Now, I don't know if it's like, well, this is our explanation, but there is a viable explanation for that. Over.
Yeah, there appear to be 2 explanations. And just wondered if you knew. Well, I figured you might know, but, I was waiting for other people to key up.
Yeah, I was seeing at the turn of the 20th century, the terms ham and plug were used by landline telegraphers to describe an operator who lacks ability, or who had poor ham-fisted skills. Remember, the first amateur radio communications were by continuous wave CW. There wasn't a phone, I don't believe. So, well, let's see. These unskilled, employing ham operators who were negligent or incompetent. Okay, well, there's one. These unskilled operators were described as either drinking alcohol while we're working, irresponsible teenage boys, or merely having very little ability. Their miscommunication was blamed for causing severe train wrecks. Well, I don't know if I want to go there. These disreputable telegraph schools were referred to as ham factories. Early radio, initially known as wireless telegraphy, included many former wire telegraph operators, and within the new service, ham was employed as a pejorative term, I bet, by professional radio telegraph operators to suggest that amateur enthusiasts were unskilled. So I think that's one use of the term, but I think there, like you said, there's another one out there somewhere.
I found about 3 or 4 different explanations, but it started way back in the early 1900s. And remember, back then it was just no real voice, not much voice. A lot of it was just code. And things were getting confused. And so apparently there were these 3 guys. One guy's name started with H, another with A, and another with M, either first or last names. And they'd be using them. And then other stations would be using something similar, and it got confusing. So the first group of guys, 3 guys, just started using the first letter, and it became HAM.
Yeah, there's in fact, you brought that up, there's all sorts of little reasons why the original ham story, something located at Harvard, Home Amateur Mechanics Magazine, HAM, acronym derived from the initials of the very popular magazine, Hertz, Armstrong, Marconi. There you go. That's the 3 names sometimes claimed that ham came from the first letters of the last names of the 3 radio pioneers, Heinrich Hertz, Edwin Armstrong, and Guglielmo Marconi. The Hammarlund legend, we check in the HAMMARLUND radios, like an example of corporate wishful thinking. Hammarlund products were supposedly so preeminent in the pioneering era of radio that they became part of the language for ham radio operators. So it's sort of a roll your own, I think.
Roger. Hey! Why not Roger? Okay. Anyway, I'll let you go. Catch you next week.
And as Mark asked the proverbial question, are there kosher hams? We might find out someday on the Old Tube Radio Network. 73, everybody, and the gonna douse out the 6L6 and get out of this seersucker suit. It's still 90 degrees around here. All right, so whether you're a ham or not, and or you might just say, I'm an amateur radio operator. Maybe that was, they heard amateur, and somebody thought, did he say he was a ham? I don't know. Make up your own story. 73, everybody, from the Old Tube Radio Network.
Amateur because you don't do it for a living or business.
Yeah, if you did, the FCC would come a-calling, that's for sure. All right, talk to you later.
Oh, as far as that other comment about kosher, the H stands for a guy's, I guess, either first or last name of Hyman. Hyman, Almy, and Murray, H-A-M.
What was it, Irving? I guess even on the range, they use 2 sets of radios.
I'm coughing. See you next week.
Okay, and the fireworks are starting to happen here as we approach the 11 o'clock hour. Good night from the Old Tube Radio Network.